Welcome to the Nitpicking Nerds, and today we got one question for you.
Are wheels problematic for Commander?
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. We're still bringing you daily content, although this video was not on time.
A little late.
Subscribe to the channel. Go ahead over to the Patreon if you want to support us with dollar bills, or you can go to the link in the description, which is an affiliate link, which means you can buy cards that you were going to buy anyway, but, oh, wait, they also support the channel.
Exactly. So, what are we doing today? Well, we're having a discussion about wheels.
Yes, what sparked this conversation, you might ask? Well, it's a little bit of a hot topic lately about Sheldon Menery's Top 20 Modern Horizons article. Nobody seems to actually care about the article. We're going to read you a quote from the article about wheels. Modern Horizons 2 reinforces that wheels are the unhealthiest thing in Commander, with cards like Dauthi Voidwalker and Sanctifier and Vec. This is of deep concern to me and is going to undergo a great deal of thought. Banning an entire class of cards is awkward at best, potentially politically suicidal at its worst. I know that folks love wheels, so it gets even more difficult. There seems like no good answers at the moment, but I'd really like to look for them. He then followed up that article with a tweet saying, quote, "If you read my paragraph and took away the idea that I want to ban wheels, please reread it with the understanding that that is not the case." So some people were a little confused, read the article, and then said, he's banning wheels for sure? And then he tweeted, so if anyone didn't know, wheels are not getting banned.
Wheels are not getting banned, but this is a heavy discussion point, so we're going to cover it here today on the Nitpicking Nerds. First thing we want to do is define a wheel, so everyone knows what a wheel is. Maybe you don't know exactly what they are, so what we have it defined as, and what Magic really defines it as, an effect that has all players exchange their current hands for a set number of new cards. So you're going to be getting rid of whatever hand you have. If you have 7 cards, getting rid of it and getting a new 7 or a new different number depending on what the card says.
Yeah, but they all basically do the same thing. When I say wheel, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, and if you didn't, well, we just defined it. So should wheels be banned? If you're asking us, we're saying, and I quote, not even close, baby.
Not even close. I mean, I don't even think these are remotely close to the most problematic cards in Commander. I think if there was a list of the most problematic cards in Commander, this is not going to crack the top 200. There are so many cards that cause issues in Commander depending on where you lie on like power and what you think the game it should be like.
So we're going to look at the pros and the cons of having wheels in the format and then see if you find a problem with them, well, what would we do about it?
All right, so let's start with the pros. The first thing, they're linchpins of various archetypes. In fact, there's an archetype called wheels.
Yeah, I don't know what these decks are doing without wheels. I feel like you're killing a lot of decks by removing them, but a pro of them in the format is that they tie these decks together.
They make their own archetype. They're a card that's so type that is so popular, they literally have an archetype around them, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think you add the like beloved, some people are huge wheel fans. I personally kind of lukewarm on it. That doesn't bother me and I don't hate it.
Yeah. What's the second one we got here?
The next one is they add more resources to the game. If players are running low and somebody wheels, well, the game just got infused with a bunch of action. Things are happening for the rest of the game for sure. And the last thing we'll just move to, and then I'll let you put your 2 cents in, is they're symmetrical, which means they're card disadvantage. If you do anything symmetrically, it is bad for you. You don't want all players to draw a card, because then your opponents have 3 cards and you have 1, and you can't control what they do with them. So it's not like a one wheel where everybody draws 7 is net bad for the caster. You have to take advantage of it through some other way, and now we're building around it, and even then it might still be bad for you.
I think both of these say wheels are very fair.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're going to get to the cons of them and the ways you can abuse them, but overall, wheels are incredibly fair. I mean, if everyone has 3 cards in your hand and you cast Wheel of Fortune, holy crap, you've just added 16 new cards to the game. Or 16 more cards, but also you've actually added 28 new cards to the game. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's not like that's always going to be great for you. I've had plenty of wheels opponents cast a wheel and then just die.
Yeah.
Because you gave your opponents juice.
Exactly. The thing with the symmetrical effects, like we've mentioned, is if everyone's drawing 7, you get 7, your opponents get 21. And yeah, they're 3 separate opponents, but that's not good for you.
Right, and these are just still pros because what we're saying is not broken. There's nothing wrong with that.
This is good. These cards should exist. These are fine. The cards being having downsides is what makes cards balanced.
Right. I mean, if a card has no downside, that's the card we're trying to ban from the format. Where we're like, hey,
Exactly.
here's the weaknesses of wheels. There's like a bunch.
Yeah, if there was, if they were just amazing and they had no downside, obviously wheels. That's when you know wheels are a problem.
Right. So let's get to the cons of maybe some problems with wheels in the format. What's the first one?
Well, they can force early mulligans, and what we mean by that is like if you have an aggressive start that you go like your first 3 turns just throw out basically your whole hand, then cast a wheel. That's great for you. You refill your hand, but every other player might have gone like tap land, and then you wheeled, and it's like you force them to mulligan into a hand that they don't get to choose to keep, but are rather forced to keep.
Yeah, comes up a lot in CDH. It's kind of like the mythical turn 1 Wheel of Fortune type of factor. But it's the same thing if you go Soul Ring Signet and then like Reforge the Soul. It's the same thing. You guys, the other guys at the table are just screwed out of any early plans they had, and now they are hoping they just have lands in their next hand because otherwise they lose.
Yeah, exactly. But what can happen here is with number 2 is with those wheel type effects, if you're doing setup, so say you're playing this card and this card so you can do this next turn or do this next turn. Well, you can't do that if there's a wheels player at the table because you know you're not going to have whatever's in your hand the next turn.
Yeah, so the first con is kind of like a feel bad. They sometimes, early on especially, wheels can feel bad. And the second one, I think they just, in general, like devalue smaller plays. You know, your 1, 2, and 3 drops you're using to set up the next future turns when there's continuous, like we're talking continuous wheels, not just one. It just makes every play in the game a haymaker. Everyone is just throwing one of their 10 best cards at you every turn.
Yeah, it's completely insane. And I just want to skip this last one because this is the most important one here. This is the real issue with wheels, and this is where it comes. Wheels are an issue because of their interaction with the cards Narset, Hull Breacher, and a few other cards.
Yes.
I don't know any off the top of my head, but these 2 specifically are the big ones. If you play a Narset than a wheel, your opponents are going to lose the game. Everyone discards their hand, okay? And then you will draw your 7, and everyone else gets 1. Or in the case of Hull Breacher, you'll get 21 treasures and 7 new cards.
And they get nothing.
These are the unfun things that wheels cause. But it's not the wheels' fault at all. The problem is Narset and Hull Breacher are incredibly unfun Magic cards.
Yeah, we can keep talking about this, but I'm going to segue into what would we do if, this is an issue where you say wheels cause this when they pair with this? Well, our solution would just be let's ban the stupid cards that basically no one really enjoys playing against but are kind of like a necessary evil, and people just kind of put in decks. I mean, Hull Breacher is messed up. We've got to play with that enough. It is messed up.
Oh, I hate the card. I honestly, it is, if on for a real like 4 commander ban list, I would just ban Hull Breacher. It'd be out of the format right now. I think the card is completely dumb. It is not fun. It is not anything. It's
common question though. Better than Jewel Lotus. Right? I think so.
It might be better. I think it is better than Jewel Lotus
at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like is it better? It doesn't even matter to me because let's just say Jewel Lotus is better. Doesn't matter. Hull Breacher is 10 times less fun. Jewel Lotus is just like, they played their commander early, and sometimes that can be unfun. But sometimes it's like they played a stupid commander that nobody cares about. Hull Breacher is always unfun.
Yeah.
Every time it's played.
And now we're saying that maybe if we controlled the format, we would ban Hull Breacher. We're not saying it should even be banned. Mm-hmm. It's more like Sheldon's saying wheels are kind of an issue here. I think this is a big chunk of why there's an issue. There's all of this like play surrounding it. Are they going to have a Narset? Do I have to counter this? Are they going to flash in Hull Breacher? Do I have to worry about this and this and this? Are they just going to wait until they have both and then I can't win? I just like eliminate that tension of it because it's just like the question of, hey, is this game going to be stupid right now?
Yeah. Also, I think I want to talk about the Dauthi Voidbringer interaction with wheels. I don't even think that's broken at all. You play out Dauthi
synergy.
Voidbringer. Awesome. That's one card. Then you play a second card and you get access to a ton of spells. Okay, that's really cool. That's an awesome interaction. Is it broken? Absolutely.
I don't think it offsets being down by 14 cards.
You also have to wheel and have this out. It's not like you just have these cards all the time. And again, then you get to the point of like, well, if you think these 2 cards interacting are the problem, what's the real problem here? Tutors. Tutors can make all these cards interact and play with each other all the time.
This is not turning into a tutor rant. Sticking to wheels.
We can stick to wheels. But I'm saying that's another thing. It's like if the fact is there's two cards that are really, really like annoying together, and they're always being seen together, and there's only one of them in your deck. I wonder why you're seeing both of them.
I will say, early on when we started playing Commander, we're talking like back when I was a teenager, so like 7-8 years ago at this point. I remember I was like, what is their issue with tutors, the rules committee? And I think we've been just coming around, especially lately. It's like, I get it. This is, we're going for that's one of the reasons we made the Commander Cube, is to avoid the sameness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the sameness is a huge thing that we like to avoid in Commander. Anything else you want to say about this? I want to say I don't think wheels are broken at all, but I guess that's my final thing. I don't think wheels are an issue. I think they're fine. They're fun. They're a disadvantage. You have to take advantage of them in a lot of ways. I think cards like Narset and Hullbreach are incredibly unfun.
I think Sheldon if this is what Sheldon's talking about, he has a fair point. Like, this is really not a fun interaction. It's not a fun little thought process I get to run through where they have blues, so they have one of these cards.
I think Dauthi Voidbringer and Wheels interaction is cool. Yeah. It's not like I think it's like, I just don't think it's broken. Yeah, it's powerful. When you do that into that, you get access to 20 spells. A different type of thing. Well, I guess it's more realistically going to be like 10.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be lands mixed in there. But that's crazy. I mean, you can just tap this to get a counter spell or a wrath, whatever you need on the spot. Really cool. But also another note, you can't just go Dauthi into Wheel because the thing needs to tap to do its ability.
Right, so it's still exposed, and you give them fresh cards. I think if, we're not even talking about that there will be a banning or there has to be a banning. If for some reason a banning is the solution you need, I would go with these things. I think it's start with Narset and Hullbreacher, see where you're at.
Exactly. I agree with that completely. Actually, we're going to do a video, not this week, next week, where we talk about what we would do to slow down the format if we need to do that.
If our a video is basically, if our intention is to slow down the format, what would we change about the ban list?
Yes, exactly. So that's going to be a cool video coming up next week. But that's this video. And special shout outs to all of our patrons. Love you guys all as much as we can without making you uncomfortable. You guys are awesome. You support the channel. We love you.
We really do. And you can go to the link in the description where there's TCG Player link. Click it. Buy the cards you were going to buy anyway. That sounds great. But now you get to support the content creators that you love, because basically at this point we're doing this full time.
Yes, we are doing this full time. We have our own place, and we get to set up the new studio probably in the next couple weeks. Once BZ's moved in fully, we can start focusing on that studio.
Gonna try to roll out that Kickstarter for some gameplay.
Definitely gonna be
this year.
Gameplay
this year with the Nitpicking Nerds.
I know, gonna be awesome. Super excited about that. So, Tippett, I just want to say one thing about clickbait titles in YouTube, and this is hit the Magic community, and I don't get it. It is, for lack of a better word, toxic.
Can I do my classic?
Go ahead.
So, clickbait is when you promise something and don't deliver it. That's what bait is, right? A fish thinks it's going to get the worm, but it gets dead instead. If you just give a fish a worm, you're not baiting it. You just gave it something. So, promising something and delivering on it, perfectly okay. If you say, I have the greatest snowboard ever, and then you're evaluated in the video by a committee of the top snowboard people, like, this is the greatest snowboard in the world. Well, yeah, that's what you showed. But if you're like, I got the greatest snowboard in the world, and you're just snowboarding, what are you doing? That's just, you're drawing this in and not delivering. It's kind of, you said toxic.
Yeah, toxic. Toxic is the best word for it. It's not good. And I understand. We've been doing this YouTube thing for 2-3 years now. I think 3 years now. We get it. You want the clicks. You want the views. People, but
difference between clickable and clickbait.
Yeah, the dishonesty in titles is what really brought me to want to say this. And BZ made it so I couldn't call out anybody, so I won't.
There's nobody to call out.
There's no one to call out. But you can go find the titles. Dishonest. Why? What? There's no the negativity. People literally believed, especially if you're a high-profile channel, people believe your title. They read your title and they believe it.
It just seems like a little misinformation. It's potentially harmful. I mean, we're talking about titles of videos on the internet, so it's not like you're stabbing someone, but
no,
just things that could be better. That it's almost like a pet peeve of mine.
You're not a bad person for doing it, but it's just kind of, it's like
pet peeve.
It's annoying. It's just it's unnecessary. You're just yeah, I know this is how people make money. Us other people, plenty of people. You want the clicks, but when you basically lie in your title, it's very frustrating because it's like, and then you don't deliver it, and then you don't deliver anything even near that.
Well, I think if you look through every title of our videos, you'll find 0 lies. Maybe I think there's probably like 1 or 2 where it's it's so tough because I know that I title all the videos, and it's always something we deliver.
Well, the only one that I even come close to saying maybe it was baity is the unplayable cards one.
I think, and the only thing that
it's a misunderstanding.
I would add, going back, I would keep everything except put like
in
cards we think, like this is just what we think.
Yeah, or higher power.
But like whenever you say something, it's like I think this. So it is a little confusing. Maybe
I would have just said high power or higher power.
Yeah, maybe.
That's all you did. I think that's all we had to do to change it because people just had a misunderstanding. Obviously, so clear that no card is unplayable in Commander, really. But unplayable at the power level we're talking about, though.
Yeah, maybe that might have fixed it.
Yeah, I think that's all we need to do. But hey, that's the nature of it. But see, that's the thing. If we do something like that, we're gonna own it. We're not gonna do that again. We're gonna fix it for the next time we do anything like that. But we gotta go. Wow.
Long tidbit,
and I gotta go edit this video because
it needs to come out today.
It's about 3 or 4 hours before you guys are seeing it. Peace out, Tribe Scout. I'm still wearing this shirt.